Hey, I'm Bob at ILikeToMakeStuff. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple floating shelf. I started out by cutting one of my mini extra pallet runners down to about 24 inches, and then just used a punch to knock the nails in flat. I measured in 4 inches from each end and made a mark which puts them 16 inches from each other, which would ideally line up with studs. You want to measure out the piece that you're going to use for the front to the length you want, and then make sure to measure a couple of pieces to go on the sides out of the same material. The width of the side pieces needs to be the same as the thickness of the top and bottom pieces. Everything's going to sit behind the front panel. I wanted to make sure this thing was pretty smooth, but not lose the kind of rough, rustic look on it. So I ran everything over the belt sander just to knock off anything loose, anything rough, but not to completely plane it down into like nice lumber. Start with the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter, and attach the sides with some brads. Then you want to put on the front. This helps lock it all together, and it's a lot easier to line up this way. One of the really fun things about doing rustic type stuff like this is that you don't have to be exact when lining edges up. I used the same natural stain that I used for the headboard I did recently. I really love it because it brings out the contrast in the wood but doesn't change the color. Then I hit it with a couple of coats of spray lacquer, just a satin finish. This isn't going to be handled, so it really doesn't even need it, but it just kind of brings out a little bit more contrast. Put the ledger on the wall and level it, and then make a mark for where the holes are going to be. Drill those holes out, and if you're going to use anchors, put them in now. In my case, I had to deepen the holes in the wood a little bit because these anchors weren't going to be long enough to go through the 2x4 and through the drywall. There's lots of different methods for securing these to the wall. This is just what I happen to use. Now you want to pre-drill some holes on top of the shelf to secure it to the ledger. You want to make sure that they're in far enough so that no matter where the shelf sits on the ledger, it can connect to the wood. Set it in place, run the screws down in, and you're good. Now, if you didn't want a rustic shelf, you could finish it in any way that you wanted to. You could use any type of wood that you wanted to. It's really just a box. Pretty easy. The big thing to remember is that the ledger that's on the wall needs to be really secure, because that's going to carry any kind of weight that you put on the shelf. The shelf itself doesn't really carry much weight. Big thanks to my good friend Chuck, who shot this episode. Chuck is in town visiting. He normally works on The Drunken Woodworker. If you've never seen The Drunken Woodworker's channel, be sure to check it out. David over there does some really great woodworking projects, and every week he does a wrap-up show. That show shows the best woodworking videos and talks about podcasts and just kind of the events that are going on in the woodworking community, and it's a really funny show. David's a funny guy and does a really great job, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to get in touch with me, let me know on Facebook. Be sure to check me out over there, and on Instagram. Be sure to go to ILikeToMakeStuff.com and check out all the other projects and free plans that I have available. And if you'd like to support this show, please check out Patreon. There's a video there that explains how it works and how the support helps me, and I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good week. I'll see you next time.